Hi, and welcome to the NHVR Portal webinar. This is number 18 in the series. This is for release 7.2.0 for the 18th of March of 2020. We're coming to you from the NHVR office in Brisbane. I'm Steve Ryan, Product Analyst with the DPG Group. I'm joined by John, who's the Product Manager for the DPG Group. Hi, Steve. Hi, John. So we'll jump into the agenda, quickly run through what we're going to see today. So we'll do a little bit of overview as introduction. John will give a run through of the roadmap. Then we'll look at the highlighted features that are coming out in this release, and then we'll get a little bit of detail about the next webinar and when that's going to be, and some other help and support numbers that are there. Cool. So as we already said, I'm Steve Ryan. This is John Barry with me. The webinar format, we have slides and portal demonstration. We are starting to move towards a slightly different method of delivery, that we're putting together some help videos that in some of these sections in here, we're using those videos. Those will then be uploaded onto the Help Centre so that you can look at them at a later date, and just for contextual help for a particular action that you're trying to take. So we're trying to progress that because we think that's more usable for the customers. So there's some details there around. If you have any questions, you can come through to the digital@nhvr.gov.au mailbox, and then this whole video for the webinar will be put up on the Help Centre as well, and then the individual videos that we've got created will also be uploaded to the Help Centre.
All right, so moving into the roadmap. So we've seen this from last month, and we're continuing to progress through access, accreditation and vehicle standards now. Minimum viable products for accreditation vehicle standards are getting completed. I think there's probably by the next release, 7.3, coming up next month. Those minimum viable products, so basically everything that the teams here in accreditation and vehicle standards need to efficiently manage accreditation and vehicle standards applications, as well as a couple of features that you'll see today, just to make things a bit easier based on the feedback we've been getting from vehicle standards customers for the approval document, and for accreditation, just a couple of things to tighten up how auditors can use the system, and some additional features for customers to make it a bit more intuitive in the add module application process. So PBS is obviously the new and the big focus for the team at the moment, and we are now coming to the end of the discovery phase internally. We will be kicking off another round of external consultation, particularly with PBS certifiers and assessors. We did have some consultation about this time last year, so we'll be looking to touch base again, provide some of the outcomes from the discovery phase internally. So we've really had a focus not just on the PBS service, but also on access, which obviously is a key part of why you want to get a vehicle. You need to get it on the road. So the integration between the two areas has been a key focus for us, and once we start moving into planning out what the next phases are going to be, we'll be able to provide a lot more information about how we're going to try and improve that whole experience, so that in effect the PBS application processes, so for design approvals and for vehicle approvals, are much more integrated with the access side of things, so there'll be more information coming up on that. The alpha phase and beta phase on the customer side of things, obviously, bringing the PBS stuff into the portal. We're going to try and we're always going to have the smart forms available, similar to what we've got now for accreditation vehicle standards. That'll obviously hopefully make that process a lot more streamlined, put in those validations, so that some of the benefits we're now seeing, particularly for accreditation and also vehicle standards, where the data's been captured ideally upfront correct, and there's no having to go backwards and forwards trying to get that information to what it needs to be before you even start assessing the case. And some of the feedback we've already had from PBS is that there is a bit of that going on, so that will obviously help reduce that. But there's a lot of opportunity also in some of the automation and data sort of capture and sharing we can get from PBS assessors and certifiers to help streamline that process. We'll be looking at that as well. So I'll move into the demonstration now. We'll start off with vehicle standards. So I guess this is a nice new feature for customers, giving them the ability to see that approval almost immediately coming into the approval in the portal. So with this particular feature, we're going to do a live demonstration, which it's a nice way to do things sometimes. But as Steve was saying earlier, we will be getting into showing you some of the help videos, contents, and how that's going to work. For this one, we'll also do a similar thing. We'll develop a help video that it is fairly obvious. You know, in this particular instance, what you can see here, once you come into your approval screen, tab I mean, and click into an approval that's been issued, you'll see this immediately, this new little tab here, which effectively brings up the final PDF document within a PDF viewer. As at the moment, you click on the issued document here to see that, but now you just see it straight away. The original details view is still available, but now we're sort of highlighting the approval itself. Obviously, that's a fairly intuitive feature.
Yeah.
Once customers come in here, that'll just appear and make life a lot easier, particularly when you receive that email that you get now saying that it's been issued. As soon as you click on that link, it will basically take you out here.
Yeah, I think that's a good advancement. And as you say, John, it's been feedback that we've got from both external customers and our vehicle standards team to try and make this process easier, and where that gets presented, because the document that the customers are looking for is that familiar document. They can then download it from there if they need a paper copy to carry with them and those types of things, but it just makes it a little bit more obvious than how it was positioned there before.
Yeah. So we'll consider some of this stuff also potentially for access, for the access permits in particular. The only note here, so like Steve said, you can download it directly from there. You can still click on the approval document here, as well as back on the actual approval tracker itself. There's a column there with a link to the document. This PDF viewer, it isn't available in Internet Explorer. So if you're using Internet Explorer, what you'll see is basically a link to the document, another link. You will need to use Chrome, Safari if you're on a Mac, and Firefox, but unfortunately Internet Explorer, there's a little niggle there with how this particular embedded PDF works. So we do encourage most of users to, if you can, use Google Chrome. Find that's the most performant for the portal, but we will continue to support the key features for Internet Explorer and Firefox Safari where we can, and unfortunately just a little limitation there with Internet Explorer. So that's the approval. We'll jump back into our demonstration, and the next part we'll look at is access. Now, this is particular for TMR, Queensland TMR issued permits that'll be now coming straight to the NHVR. So for those users who will be renewing permits that have been issued by TMR, those permits, some of them had multiple vehicle configurations on the one permit, and what that means coming into the portal is that for those that have used the portal from an access permitting perspective, you'll know that the permits are issued based on a single vehicle configuration. And so what it means is that as these TMR issued permits start to come in and being renewed through the portal, they effectively get split up into each configuration. In some cases, there could be up to 15 different configurations that need to be split out. So what we've done, and this is really more for the access facilitators, for the access team here at the NHVR, but we will go through this demo to show you what they'll be doing, and then we'll talk about what the impacts will be for you as a customer, and probably as importantly for the road managers as well. So this is the new help video format. there'll be an intro section. There'll be a voiceover on this as well. So it'll take you through initially what the video is about and what the benefits are. So what you're seeing here now is the process that an access facilitator will go through. We're just showing you what a permit looks like. This is just a demo, but effectively there's a couple of road managers on there. There was a pre-approved route there, as well as one that had conditions on it. What the access facilitators will have is this new permit templates tab. So this is what they see here in the back end. The templates that are being configured represent the different sort of vehicle configurations that these TMI issued permits have come out as. You see they've basically got different trailer components effectively. So same prime mover, but different trailers that make it different configurations. What we've done is for each of the templates, we're setting up the conditions on those templates. And those are the standard conditions that are applied for each of those configurations. Based on that then, the access facilitator can come in and select one or more of those templates. So they'll be looking at your current renewal that's come in, and then they'll select these templates relevant to splitting out the permit, and then click that button that you just saw, and immediately within seconds the system then effectively copies the permit and clones it, so we get one for each vehicle configuration. Not only does it do that, it copies the conditions from those templates and also copies the route. So that route information, there could be multiple routes, in this case there's only one, and all of the consents are also copied across. So you'll see there's the route, and then in the decisions you'll see the TMR there was already pre-approved, so that comes across, but a consent's been issued for Brisbane City Council in this example. So what that means is, from an impact perspective, as a customer, you'll see once you've submitted your TMI renewal, you'll see multiple permits potentially getting created off that. So you'll have the sort of the original one, which will represent one configuration, and then up to potentially 15. From a road manager perspective, it means that you'll see consents for specific vehicle configurations. Now, that does mean that there's more consents out there, but it also simplifies it in the sense that you're looking at the consent for this specific vehicle configuration. So it keeps it in line with the way that the consenting process works through the portal anyway. It keeps it specific, so you're providing consent, it's for this particular vehicle as opposed to several or up to 15 different configurations. So that's the first example of one of the support videos. They all end with the where to go to find more help. So we'll be publishing these in the Help Centre probably later on in a couple of weeks from now. We'll sort of begin to restructure that Help Centre a little bit. The webinar that we're seeing here will be up straight away there. So let's get into accreditation. There's two major changes here that are customer impacts. One is the NHVR auditors and how we, or what features they're allowed to do in the portal. Currently, auditors can draft and submit on behalf of operators. We're going to tighten up a little bit, so NHVR auditors can still draft applications, they just won't be able to submit them. And that's because the submission of the actual application needs to come from the operator. While it's okay, obviously, for auditors to help out with the drafting of the application, it is important from an accreditation point of view that we do see the operator actually submit those. And in some cases, they need to be the legal representative as well. So here's the approved list of auditors. I've gone in and what you're seeing here is my profile where I've got the accreditation user submitter role. What that means is that I can, in this example of updating vehicles, I can actually submit that application because I have that submitter role. What we're going to have a look at now is we're going to effectively apply my email address and my profile to this auditor, XY. And what that does now is it relates me and my profile to that of an auditor, an NHVR auditor. My role against the account is still user submitter, but if I log back in and out for this application, while I still have that role, because now I'm considered an auditor, that submit action is disabled. So I can still change and draft the application, but the submission role now will be only for non-auditors on the account. So that's the first change. The second is a small change, but in an add module application for accreditation, no matter which modules you're adding, we'll always show the vehicle and the driver details tabs. Now, if you're doing a add module just for mass or maintenance, then you only need vehicles to be updated on and provided as part of the application. Similarly, if you're doing a BFM or AFM, you only need the driver step. So this change here is really just to tidy that up. So depending on what modules you select, we show you specifically the information that needs to be captured, which was a bit of an oversight for the way that smart form had been designed. So this will be an example here. I'll go in, obviously go through the Manage Accreditation tab. I currently have Maintenance Management and Advanced Fatigue Management on this particular accreditation. So when you go to add modules, it'll show you what modules you can add. So I've got mass module I could add, or the basic fatigue management module. So if I tick the mass, then it should only show me the vehicles. If I tick BFM, then when I go in to start that application, it should only show me the drivers. So that's what we should see here. There you go. So previously I was seeing vehicle and drivers, and now I'll just see the driver tab. Of course, all of the smart forms in the system, one of the key advantages is that we only capture the information that's required, so that tidies that up. So those are the key features for this release. Really, I guess small things, but part of that, what we're talking about on the roadmap there is the MVP, or the minimum viable product, just a few little tidy ups to make that the product, those service lines for vehicle standards and accreditation in particular, consistent with the rest of the portal and the whole ethos of making that things a lot more efficient and more effective. There are a number of enhancements we're doing in the back end as well that just help with case officers, both in accreditation. We saw some of the key changes there that are happening in access, but also for vehicle standards in the back end. There's a lot of things that are being done to make that a lot easier and more efficient, and the outcome being that from a customer's perspective or from a road manager's perspective, you should see those in processing improvements in terms of timeframes, as well as the way that the system and case officers here can be more responsive to the needs of the application process. All right.
Thanks for that, John. There's, I think, some good features, as you said, that are going to be able to help both customers and internally with processing time. So I think which is an additional win for the customers when we can get through the work in a more efficient way. So there is the details around the next webinar. It'll be during April 2020. The date will be announced. There's some contact information on there around where you can go if you have any other questions. I think the other good feature that we've seen out of that will be coming out over the next coming weeks and months is around those help videos, which hopefully give the customers another sort of support route that they can go to be able to look for things that they're trying to do. So whatever actions they're trying to take in the portal, they can get those instructional videos that hopefully give them some targeted advice about what it is that they're trying to do.
As well. I mean, these webinars, it's hard to see what's in them.
Yes.
And if you remember, I saw something in a webinar, it's actually hard to find it.
Yes.
And that's the feedback we've been getting.
Yes. Yeah. So spreading those videos out, making them available, searchable on the new help centre that you say, John, that we're going to be restructuring.
Yep.
Hopefully that provides a much better platform for support for customers to be able to self-serve when they're trying to take a particular action or activity through the portal. Yep. So that's great. So thanks very much for joining us again for the webinar. The release will be out today, and we'll join you again next month. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Steve.